Hey everyone, welcome to POPXP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the POPXP channel.
Boom. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to Crowdfunding Comics. That is right. Tonight is Crowdfunding Comics. We're talking with crowdfunding creators.
Back to our roots.
Indie managers? What? What are we throwing at you tonight, people? Something insane. It's a steal. It's a bargain. And joining me is Teen Sensation, Billy Tucci, and the most amazing Frank you'll ever meet, Mr. Frank Amazing. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
I am doing great. I'm really excited about the whole thing about indie creators management for that. You know, to manage it. It's just showing how far indie comics and indie self-publishing has come in the past year or two.
Exactly. It's insane, man.
It's very healthy for the industry and for
it's
creators.
like when you take that water and you water a flower like that, and it's just like it blossoms. It's a blossoming thing. Yes, I poured water on myself
because he can.
Because I can. Because we love indie creators.
That's right. And as you could tell, Nile Scala has a drinking problem.
Yes, a slight one. Because I'm so excited. But no, this is great. This is so cool to bring this on. Our first guest, she actually has reached out to us to schedule, a few of the creators that we've had on Crowdfunding Comics, Five and Dime, and some of our other shows. And it's good that, I caught her ear today and I said, hey, Lisa, because that's her name. Lisa, please come on the show. Please, Lisa, tell us how you work your magic. And she is here to work her magic. Everyone, please welcome Lisa from Melone Management. Lisa, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks
Great
for being here,
Lisa. Welcome aboard.
I am ready to join the madness. Let's do this.
Let's do this. So, Lisa, I have to. So, you have Melone Management, and you're now, you're working with indie creators. You're helping promote, book them for gigs, interviews, things of that nature. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this business?
Well, actually, I have a background in marketing, public relations, and journalism. So this was really easy for me to get into. After I lost my job due to COVID, I decided to start Melone Management, and I actually managed Kara Nicole. And I did a really big job for her with Confessions of a Cosplay Diva. I did the editing and the entire layout of that book, which was awesome because it was a week-long adventure in Arizona, collaborating with those guys. But, I've seen a need for people to have somebody to manage their crowdfunding campaigns and really get some marketing because they're lacking in trying to stand up from the crowd, and they want to be able to get their art in front of the people that are going to buy it. Mm-hmm. I am a one-stop full-service shop, basically. I do graphics. I do public relations, like booking, like you said, for interviews. I do the marketing on social media. I do full build-outs on Kickstarters from top to bottom, and the one thing that I like to pride myself in is that I do offer indie creators free 1-hour consults. Ooh.
Excellent.
Now describe what do they get with that consultation?
I basically will talk to them about their project. I encourage them to come with me if they have a Kickstarter that they're looking to launch, with a project that they already have. Not something that's like not quite tangible yet. You really need to have something that, it's like 50% of the way there, for me to be able to take on a client like that. So when we talk about their goals, we'll talk about whether they need social media support or whether they just need Kickstarter support. Everything is like a custom program that's built specifically for my client. I am their cheerleader. I check in with them all the time. We're constantly communicating about posts, about assets that are needed. And I try to do check-ins with them via Zoom as much as possible, just because face-to-face is a lot different than just talking through like Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Lisa,
yeah,
what do you see as like the biggest hurdle with like indie creators when they're doing their first campaign?
I think that a lot of indie creators, first of all, undervalue their work, and they don't see the potential that they have for a variety of options to be offered to entice enough backers to get in on the campaign to fund. I also see that there's a disconnect between, yes, you are might be an artist, but you're not a graphic designer. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I have the ability to take these graphics and size them properly for Indiegogo, for Kickstarter, to make sure that, you know, you're not scrolling to have to try to see a whole cover. So people can actually see your art the way that you want it presented. And to present your story in a manner in which, you know, makes sense and is cohesive to others. And hopefully that answers your question.
Wait, so are you working on their books as well, like consulting with their books, or are you just consulting with the sales strategy, the campaign setup, and the marketing?
It depends. Like in Kara's situation, I did consult on her book because I did some writing for her book as well, and the editing as well. But in terms of consulting on comics and doing editing for that, I am not taking any of that on at this time. Okay. Just the sales side.
Gotcha. Excellent. So how? Oh, I'm sorry, Billy. Were you going to say something?
No, I think what a great idea this is, and it is very it's that something that artists and writers, cartoonists should take advantage of, because creating a comic is a full-time job all on its own. And again, you don't have that time really to market it. You don't have that time to do all the nuances about the Kickstarter. My wife and I have been doing this for 26 years, 27 years. So we kind of, but without her, I wouldn't know what the hell I'm doing. I draw pictures, for a living, So there's the things about all the, especially you're going to crowdfund, with the, with all the levels, with all the add-ons. If you're going to work with a company like CrowdOx, which was recently bought by BackerKit now, someone has to work with them. Someone has to deal with them. Someone has to deal with the customers on a daily basis, because people ask questions every single day. People, backers, and you have to respond to them because they want to buy your product. But there's questions about different levels to the campaigns, because campaigns can get very, very complicated unless you just have one comic and that's it. But even if you do just have one comic book, say it's a 32-page comic and that's all you have, people are still going to ask you about shipping. What if I buy 2 comics? Can I get lower? Can I get a discount on shipping, etc.? And you need someone like that to run that. I'm not going to say interference, but someone to clarify that for the customer, to deal with the customer, and then also to help promote it.
Do you do that though? Do you manage do the customer service part for them?
Top to bottom. It all depends on how the client wants me to be. If they decide that if they decide that they don't want me to be answering their messages, then I leave that up to them. But really, in the end, I do try to take over all of that kind of stuff to take off the strain of it, because it does make it easier and more streamlined if one person is handling everything.
Now, for someone who's interested, I mean, they're probably sitting here watching thinking, okay, that's really cool, but how does this work? How does she bill? Is it free? No, it's not free. So how does the billing process go? How are your arrangements set with the creators?
So with anything, I also take a risk like this with any type of crowdfunding. I do require a small deposit up front, depending on what kind of services you're asking for. That deposit varies, and then there's a percentage on the back end when you fund.
Mhm.
When you fund, because you will fund.
Mhm.
I mean, that's my whole point of taking me on, is to make sure that my clients fund, and I'll do everything possible to make sure that happens.
Oh, fantastic. Now, how many clients do you currently have right now?
4.
4. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, do they all have active campaigns right now?
I have one who has an active campaign. Rob Mutari has a Night Wolf Volume 1 out on Indiegogo right now. He has some really cool die-cut hardcovers on there that are very interesting. But that's the first 4 issues of Night Wolf. And he did successfully fund on Kickstarter, and he's actually gaining some traction on Indiegogo now. So we're having a good time with that campaign. It's got some great art.
Yeah, and we've had him on the show before when he was on Kickstarter. So some of you viewers out there may have seen this book before. But yeah, the art's great. It's the whole current series, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's fantastic. So he did Kickstarter. Now he's over on Indiegogo. So now you're pushing Indiegogo. And what you're doing for him is you're now helping coordinate his campaigns. You're helping him get on shows, and doing all that. Now, do you have, what is your max capacity? Have you tried to figure that out? How many clients will you take on before it's too much for Lisa Malone?
Oh, that's
Don't take
what?
on Nile Scala.
Remember, Lisa Malone is a
that's a powerful name. I can do what I want. Do you know, man?
Force of nature, man.
Do you know me? You don't know who I am. You know what? My client base will vary depending on when their Kickstarters run. So depending on how much involvement a client needs me to have, it will dictate, how much time I need to devote to each client. And I definitely try to make sure that everybody gets fair share of their attention, because, that's part of the job,
Yeah.
Now, what about, for example, with Night Wolf, they're in demand. Do you continue to go all the way through until In Demand gets either shut down by Indiegogo, or your client decides, I'd like to turn off In Demand?
Well, in this particular instance, Rob is only running a campaign through the 23rd on In Demand.
Okay.
Yeah. So it depends on the client again, and what kind of services they need. If they want me to push it, it would probably be more of a social media type package, rather than full on hands-on managing that campaign, just because if you are taking it, hopefully you have successfully funded it in Kickstarter and you're on demand or in demand on Indiegogo then. So if you are just trying to garner more, all those people who don't want to support Kickstarter, which is why we go to Indiegogo as well, you're still trying to get that word out. Hey, now I'm in demand, come support me. But I'll always try to get clients to do a cutoff, 60 days max.
Nice. Very cool.
No.
Well, Lisa, we really appreciate you coming on. And where can, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, what is the best place to get a hold of you? Is it your Facebook page?
Yeah, actually, they can get a hold of me either on my personal Facebook profile under Lisa Malone. It's spelled Melone, or you can find me at my page under Melone Management. That's my business page. Just give it over there. Go over there and give it a like. I share out indie content for my creators, creative network, and also from my clients as well.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Now we'll add those links into the description of the show. So if anyone out there's watching and wants to head over to contact Lisa, her contact information will be in the description for this episode. Lisa, are you on any social media? Are you on Instagram, Twitter, or anything like that elsewhere?
Yeah, I'm also on Instagram under Melone Management. I don't use it as quite as much, but on Twitter I am not a fan of, but I don't use it. I am just not a fan of Twitter whatsoever.
It puts you in a bad mood every time. I think Twitter is filled with crybabies and tattletales.
I like
Hey, Disney, have you seen this? Not a good look, Disney. Not a good look, Marvel. Like just like what the.
It's crazy. A lot of drama on that, But hey, you got to do it.
Keyboard John Gotti's.
It's the nature of the beast, You got to do it. It's part of it. It's part of that social media marketing, unfortunately. But Lisa, love what you're doing.
Thank you.
So happy that you're there. Your services are there for anyone, and really, I encourage you. Billy encourages you. Frank encourages everyone. I mean, if you need that assistance, if you need that support, reach out to Lisa. Get your free hour consult, and maybe you can get yourself a nice backbone and foundation to work with. Again, Lisa, thank you so much for coming on. Please reach out to us anytime. If you want to have something to talk about, or if you have any of your clients that would like to come on and chat.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
And Lisa, you're more than welcome to hang out if you like. Yep. I'm going to bring on our next guest. We have AJ, and I'm sorry I butchered your last name, AJ Rojek.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Yes.
AJ Rojek.
Now, Lisa, I know you said that you were having some internet problems and you're on your phone. So if you have to cut out, we won't take it personally.
I know. I think I should be okay for a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So AJ,
but if you feel, we'll just blame it on Billy.
Yeah, right. On me.
It's Billy's fault.
Everybody else does. Why not?
Yeah. So AJ, you are crowdfunding now, and what are you here for?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys. I am here for my book, Torch, Reclaim the Skies.
Nice.
This is my first Kickstarter. And I wish I had Lisa, honestly, because I've been pulling out my hair these past few months, designing this page and getting all the art together and all the stuff. But I'm just thrilled with the progress, though, because like you see there, we got funded in 7 hours.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Great.
Incredible.
Projects we love tag, and we're very close to going 3x on our funding goal, which is just
cool. Now, how long is your video?
It's like 2 minutes long.
Cool. I'm going to play the video. Let's watch. I always like to play these campaign videos. So let's take a look at your Torch Reclaim the Skies Kickstarter campaign video.
Hi, my name is AJ Rojek, and I am the writer and creator of Torch Reclaim the Skies. Torch RTS is the story of an ex-Kid Prodigy star pilot who was put out to pasture by the military. Now older, Torch lives with her adopted brother Spark, bored and drinking away her pension. That is until one fateful trip to the city lands the duo in hot water, reawakening Torch's love of adrenaline. The reason for this Kickstarter is because I wanted to know if I could do it. Back in 2017, I wrote this script, and then I just kind of tucked it away. And it wasn't until 2020 did I realize that I was actually living in fear of failure. And by not trying, I've already admitted defeat. I also wanted to share this story with you, the reader. Since 2017, this script has evolved and now tackles themes of nostalgia, depression, and yearning for better days, which is something I'm sure we can all relate to. This Kickstarter is for issue 1, which is already complete. The proceeds is going to go towards printing and the creation of future issues. There are some awesome rewards in place, with 3 variant covers, foil covers, posters, and even t-shirts. Check out the page below for a complete breakdown of all the rewards. Thank you for visiting this page, and I hope you give this book a chance. If you're inclined, please share it with others. A simple retweet is a powerful way to increase the chances of success with this project. Thanks again. Until next time, look to the stars.
Yeah, it kind of runs a little long at the end there.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous.
right.
You have a gorgeous book.
That art
I mean,
is fantastic.
This is your first comic book?
Well, I mean, I wrote it. I had put together an awesome art team.
Okay, yeah.
The art is Tom Hoskison. He's out of Australia. And the colorist is Daniela Barasone. She's Italian. She's from Milan. And yeah, we just put together a dream team. Tom, he did an awesome job. And then Daniela is just like, it was a match made in heaven, honestly. Put together that art team. And then I got Joel Rodriguez and David A. Byrne. He's the he's publisher. He's a publisher at Scout Comics. And Joel Rodriguez is a letterer, but he also does page design at Scout Comics. So I put together a dream team, and a couple months in the making, and Torch was born. So really happy with how everything turned out.
It's a gorgeous. I mean, the interiors are gorgeous on this. I mean, it's really is like this looks like a professional book.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, I really am proud with how it turned out. So.
And how long did it take to put this together, you said?
Well, it was because it was my first book. It was a lot of like stumbling, baby steps, learning how to do the whole production and whatnot. So I actually started looking for artists last February. So it's been a year. But now that I have things figured out and I know how to talk to creators and I know what I need for the book, the second issue is gonna probably come a lot faster.
Mm-hmm. So tell us about the book, though. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Frank.
No, go ahead.
No, tell us what is the synopsis of this? What are we getting with this book? What's the story?
Yeah. So issue 1, it's a lot of setup, but it's still pretty action packed. Basically, it's the origin story. I'm introducing you to the character Torch and Spark Armstrong. Torch was a kid prodigy star pilot, but then she was put out to pasture by the military. And this story kind of you see her present day, and you see her that she's struggling. She's just in a rut. She's bored, depressed. And I wanted to explore the themes of depression and nostalgia. And throughout the issue, you see Torch kind of realize like, man, I miss the glory days. So she goes ahead and, breaks out of that rut, which, like I said, I think is something we all relate to. And then her brother Spark is just kind of along for the ride. And it's a great, I think the story turned out great. But there's definitely going to be an issue 2. I don't want to spoil the end of issue 1, but there's a lot of themes at play. I also do some flashbacks. If you scroll to one of the pages, there's a flashback scene with Torch as a kid. And I explore the idea of a kid being in the military. That's the page right there. And just, there's a lot at play, and I'm really proud with how it turned out. I'm also regretting writing a complicated story. It's not complicated to read, but it's definitely complicated to write because there's a lot of elements at play.
Yeah. No, I mean, this looks great. Now I see, you do have the guys from Scout involved. So after your crowdfunding and everything's done, are you looking to get this published through Scout to get into the comic shops?
No, I'm thinking about just staying independent for now, just so I can
Mhm.
find my footing. Maybe if I have a complete story, like a complete story arc, maybe
Yep.
I'll approach them. But right now I'm just kind of going at my own pace. I'm going for quality, not speed. But like I said, I've already got the script for issue 2 written out. And as soon as the clock hits 0, or actually now we're starting in the production of issue 2, now that we secured the funding. So
Excellent. Now, you said you were looking for an artist. How did you go about and find your artist?
Facebook, wonderful world of Facebook. There's a Facebook page. It's like 10,000 strong of just artists. And I sent out a post and I sent out a script. I described it as, hey, here's this sci-fi epic. It's a combination of Star Wars, Harley Quinn, and Hurt Locker. And so like about 50 people applied, and I narrowed it down to 3. And then I just really connected with Tom. He's a prodigy of himself, and he's gonna blow up. I wish he was on social media more, because honestly, if people just saw like the stuff that he does, he's world good. So yeah, found him.
What's the page? What's the page, in case there are people out there that want to
steal your artist?
Yeah.
Facebook page?
How do we steal your artist? How do we?
I don't know. Well, Tom, I think he's booked up. But yeah, just Google Tom Hoskisson. Oh shoot, I don't have like a link. I could drop a link, but if you Google Tom Hoskisson, he's on Behance. That artist spotlight page.
Yeah.
So his last name is Hoskisson. If you type in Tom Hoskisson Behance, he'll pop up. And then Daniela Barasone, she's on Facebook too. She's also on Behance. So if you guys Google them, they'll pop up. I'm gonna also like link their stuff on my website and all that jazz. But great art team.
Yeah, obviously it looks amazing.
Now you were saying that aside from writing a complicated story, is there anything else? This being your first campaign, what else? What did you learn? What would you not do the next time?
I would hire Lisa the next time. Yeah, it's, if you like scroll down, I did all of the page design, like that right there, and the reward page, and those were a couple all-nighters.
Look at it animates. How'd you get that? That's cool. How'd you get that little animation?
That was cool. I found a guy on Fiverr from Argentina. He did it for $5. Greatest investment of all time.
Right. Yeah, wow. Fiverr's a great resource, that Fiverr.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a hit or miss, but definitely this one was a hit. Nice. Yeah, so I spent way too much time designing the page. I mean, I think it turned out great, and I think that's the reason we got a Projects We Love tag, because it was just, I'm like really happy with how the page turned out, and I think
beautiful page.
The editors at Kickstarter thought so too. And so if I were to do this Kickstarter again, yeah, you definitely need help. Now, David and Joel, like they both run successful Kickstarters. David, his comic Stake, which is now picked up by Scout, his comic, like he breaks 25K easily. So like he was a huge help, and Joel was a huge help about like, this is what you'd expect and this is what you need. But being my first Kickstarter, and also because I was investing my own money I paid Tom and Daniela with my own money. I decided to do the graphics myself to save some money, and I lost a few nights of sleep.
That's where I would have come in handy.
And that's where Lisa comes in.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the Kickstarter turned out. Like, just such great reception. I got a couple interviews, which was nice, and that was also a grind. I reached out to like 100 people, and 5 people were nice enough to say yes, including you guys. But all the reviews have been super positive, and I'm just really happy. Like, it's really best case scenario, going 3x. Really, I'm really excited about it.
Very cool.
Now,
Frank, go ahead.
Okay. Now you funded in 7 hours. What do you attribute that to?
Ooh, I think I grinded. I really did. I'm mostly active on Twitter, so I was just tweeting every day. I also listened to Comics Launch by James Tyler. Is that his name?
Yep.
James Tyler, Comics Launch. He taught me about the value of an email list. So I got an email list up and running. I was on Twitter, Facebook. I went on Upworks, and I hired someone to just churn out art, which is like something you don't have to worry about. Like, you don't have to worry about what he says. It's just like, here's an image. So I had someone churn out art on socials. And because I've been working on this since last February, it's really been a year buildup, is what it was. I almost launched in October, and Joel had to like grab me by the collar and be like, no, this is a terrible idea. And he was right, because the graphics weren't done. I had no idea how long it would take to set up a Kickstarter page. So fortunately, we pushed back from October to this January, which was the right call.
Yes.
Because I got a couple more months of promoting done. And then also just connecting with people. You can't sell people a book. You can't be like, here's my book, bye. You got to make friends with people. And I really did make a lot of friends. I never did Discord before this year. And then I joined Discord, and I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. And I joined a couple comic Discord servers, and there's one server that's just like the indie comics, the Indie Comics Crowd. Yeah, Indie Comics Crowd Discord server that's just like, it's just a small group of comics creators, and we all got together and just like, we would support each other, share our stuff. I met a lot of great people, like Mike Shea from Miskatonic High, Gemma from Temerity. These guys, they huge supporters. The Pale, creator of The Pale. I feel like I'm giving an Oscar speech and I'm forgetting all the people to thank.
Don't forget your mother.
Oh, right. Thanks my mom. And so it's
very
cool, great experience.
This is a gorgeous book. I mean, you're coming in the ring swinging. You've already knocked out some people. I mean, this is very impressive. I'm gonna be honest. We see in the almost 2 years, 300 plus shows. I mean, this is for a first time campaign. Yeah. You're definitely coming in swinging. I mean, you've picked a great creative team. And very professional looking book. And
it just shows that, first impressions are everlasting. They're so important, and you knocked it out of the park.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great job, man.
And again, well done by being patient and releasing it when it was ready, as opposed to when you were ready and you just want to get it done and get it out there. Because you start creating, you start getting all amped up about it, you get excited, and you want to get it out there. You're talking to people. When's it coming out, right, AJ? They're like, when's it going to launch? When's it going to launch? You got to be like, almost trust me when it is. And they see that all those little extra steps. Really, it's all done. It's done. It's the right way to do it.
Thank you.
Yes,
exactly the way you should.
Yeah, very good job, man. Appreciate you coming on and showing off your campaign. Looks amazing. You're going to do great. If you stick on this road, I think you have a very promising career in comics. And hopefully, in the indie arena, you can really build your brand, your name, and everything. And maybe someday Lisa can be some great assistance to you. And as amazing of a writer as you are, we have another fellow writer backstage ready to come on. So without further ado, everyone, please welcome Mr. JC Vaughn back to the show. JC, Hola. How you doing?
It's been a hell of a day.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah, I spent the bulk of the day in the ER at Winthrop University, NYU Langone Hospital with Rosina's mom. And all I have to say is, boy, kudos to those people. We went in there for something totally different, and they spotted that she was having a heart attack. And if she survives, it'll be because of them.
Yeah. Well, our thoughts and prayers go out to you, your family, your mother-in-law, and we hope for a speedy recovery.
Thanks, man. And the great thing about it is that this has been a really good show and nice distraction.
Yeah.
to be watching, and a lot of people with some really good ideas. I got to say, AJ, very impressive with that. I mean, it's a great campaign for a first one. It sort of blows me away.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're gonna PayPal us all, right, for saying all these nice things. AJ. You have all our emails, right?
Yeah, you're gonna get a little Venmo ding.
Venmo, that's fine. I can Venmo. We're good with that. We could do that. But hey, it looks amazing. And JC, I mean, you've got your campaign going up.
We've got
on Kickstarter and IndieGoGo. I'm showing IndieGoGo though, because we got to get the love over to IndieGoGo.
You know, here's what I want to say. I would have. I'm happy with either. I got to be candid about that. I learned from Billy not to say, not to exclude any audience. When he did the campaign on She Return of the Warrior, the No Fan Left Behind, and obviously it's continued to pay benefits for him on She Haikyo, both of which I'm extremely proud to serve as editor for. But I gotta tell you, both times I did this on McCandless and Company crime scenes and on Second Wednesday, both times IndieGoGo has started stronger and then been surpassed.
Really?
Yeah. So and we had one big pledge drop out on Kickstarter, which is always the thing that can happen there.
Yeah, that is
you have to build that into your equation. So I had a friend I haven't seen in, I don't know, 30, 35 years, just jump in and bump it back up. And he was already a significant pledge. So it was pretty great.
Yeah.
But the campaign, other than a few individual perks, the campaigns are identical.
Yeah.
And if you want the quick pitch for the book?
Yes. Yeah, let's give the pitch for the book, and then I think why don't we show off some of the art that you
that'd be great. I'd love to do that because I'm really excited about the stuff that's been coming in. One of the advantages of my position at the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide is I know all the best artists in the business. And when I call and say, hey, give me a friends and family discount, here's what I want to do. And they go, yeah, okay. It's really great. But the story behind Second Wednesday, which is the first, I hope, of many, between these two private eyes, Donovan Bay and Michelle Benson. For more than a year, the grisliest murder in the history of normally sleepy mid-cities town of Hurst, Texas, which was my adopted hometown, by the way, has gone unsolved. With the case growing colder by the day and desperate for any kind of breakthrough, the victim's mother turns to private investigators Donovan Bay and Michelle Benson. They dig in immediately, but the more they uncover, the worse the victim looks, the more potential suspects they find, and the deeper the mystery becomes.
Excellent.
So I'm really excited about it, Billy, because as you know, I've got more than in terms of contributions or creating, I've got more than 40 nonfiction books to my credit. I have literally thousands of articles, dozens of comics, and even a few screenplays. So to say this is my first novel, I'm still pretty geeked out about it.
It's very exciting. And well, how different is it to write a murder mystery, crime?
Well, for me, not that. I mean, basically because McCandless and Company, literally McCandless and Company Dead Razor was my first creator-owned comic. So literally that's the space I've been living in since the beginning, even though I've got like major league detours of writing She or other things that I've written like Stargate Atlantis and Stargate Universe and all that. But even in 24, which I did for IDW, there was some crime element to it. It just, usually played out in the realm of terrorism. But it's still, the noir thing really appeals to me. I think probably out of the comics I've done so far, McCandless is the closest. There was a one-shot issue of 24 called 24 Midnight Sun, which was set in Alaska. and Renato Geddes did both the art and the colors. That came out pretty noir. I mean, it really looked like Tim Bradstreet stuff. Yeah, that was really great. But so to do that in prose, without the safety net of the artwork, was a fun activity. I look forward to repeating it. But that said, I really wanted to do something special with the deluxe limited edition of the book. I wanted something for the people that supported us on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And so I called a bunch of my art friends and gave them all springboards for various characters. Most of them individual characters, but in the case of Billy, I sent him 2 because I had to be difficult.
2?
Yes. And now you want to run through some of the art? Or?
Yeah, well, let's talk about the main cover here. This is absolutely gorgeous.
Okay. Let me ask you guys a serious question, and if you disagree with me, there's absolutely no problem at all. There's just something wrong with you.
Tomato.
In all seriousness, how the hell am I the first person to get Justgo to do a crime cover in prose fiction?
I have no clue.
How could Hard Case Crime, which I adore, I get advanced reader copies of their new Stephen King book right here. Okay. I give them great reviews. How could they pass on Joe as a cover artist?
They passed on him?
Yes.
If he's too expensive, wow. That's the problem.
It is. He has absolutely submitted them. It is beyond my imagination. I look at this cover and I want to buy this book, and it's my book.
Yeah. I think it's obvious that he is incapable of drawing firearms and beautiful women.
Yeah.
Isn't that, I mean, seriously, is that not one smoldering cover?
That's fantastic.
Do you have do you own this original though?
I do not own the original. I sure as heck wish I did.
Because that needs to, if you did, that'd have to be hanging in your office.
Let me say this: if somebody writes me a check for a TV series based on this, I promise that part of it will go to Joe so I can buy this. It is. I honestly, what a blessing to have that as a cover. I mean, seriously. And then Don Guzzo, who's a Marvel bullpen veteran and a friend of many years, just did the design work, and I worked with her on it, and it's just so freaking good.
Now this obviously this is a novel, and your other crowdfunding campaigns have been for graphic novels,
and I think
comic books and stuff. But what's different though about this is there are illustrations in this book.
In the deluxe edition.
In the deluxe edition.
The standard edition won't have them. I wanted to do something special for the people who supported it. And let's start right here with Sergeant Molesby, who is this great monosyllabic cop that, there's just so much character in what he doesn't say. Mm-hmm. And this is by John K. Snyder III. John is an artist I've worked with many times over the years on Overstreet covers, and who a couple years ago did what I consider to be maybe the crowning work in his career. I mean, he's not slowing down or anything like that, but I mean, he adapted Lawrence Block's 8 Million Ways to Die from prose into a graphic novel. Mm-hmm. And it is one of the single best crime comics I've ever read. If you like 1980s period New York stories, it is brilliant. It captures all the moods of the novel, which is just an impressive as hell statement to make. And you just look at this guy and you think, oh man, he means business.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Man. I just love that piece. And again, what a joy to have talented friends who regularly blow you away with stuff,
Yeah.
And that's this, you look at this piece and everybody who's seen it just loves it.
Oh yeah.
And then if you're a fan of the Wynonna Earp comics, I mean, now here's a piece for you.
Yeah.
Again, this is okay. One thing I should have said about John's piece and any of the other ones you see in black and white, there's going to be color on the central figures in the pieces, and the backgrounds will be largely left black and white. You can see that Chris Evan-Hughes, who did this one, and of course is the artist for Wynonna Earp, colored Laura Field and then splashed some color on the background too. But it's still the background's still close to black and white. But I think it's a really cool take on it. and he really captured the character. I gave him I gave him what I thought was a really good springboard, but I don't think it was as good as I got.
Yeah. No, this looks great, and I love his work, even in Winona comics.
Well,
I just love his black lines. Like he does the thick outline that works. There's other people that do it. It doesn't work. His style works.
I think you and I talked about this before, and Amanda Connor does the same kind of thing. And one of the things that I really like about Chris's artwork, it's the same is true for Amanda's, is you can find people who are Silver Age, Bronze Age fans who will turn up their noses at a lot of modern artists. And you don't see that with Chris or, for that matter, Amanda. They are cross-generational in their appeal of their visuals, which is a powerful thing to say. And so I love to have that in the book. And Laura is a research hound. She works for our main Private Eyes, and she is a librarian, and she's real punk. So hence the little bit of purple hair there.
Yeah, and then you've even given some newcomers a shot in this book. I mean, guys trying to break into the industry.
Oh, stop.
Mr. Tucci.
He's just the guy that draws pictures, is what he said earlier.
That's Donovan Bay and Michelle Benson, who are the main characters.
And I've yet to give you that artwork.
And yes. And I've got to say that I think I'm toying with the idea on this one of leaving the flag in black and white, but I'm also toying with the idea of doing it in like maybe 10 or 15% for its regular colors. So like real faded, but still distinct in there. It is, after all, the greatest of all state flags.
I agree with that.
So
I'll give you that.
Strongly disagree.
The flag.
But you think, but honestly, Nile, as an intelligent fellow, we almost realize our own limitations. You think Connecticut pizza is the best too?
That's true.
The absolute best pizza capital. By the way, it's the pizza capital of the world.
Oh, so simple.
Google it. We also have great hot dogs in the home of the hamburger, Louis Lunch, the first hamburger.
First hamburger.
It is documented.
Get Naugahyde.
What?
Naugahyde.
Naugahyde?
Yeah, there's a city called, what's the city?
Naugatuck?
Naugatuck created Naugahyde, which is an imitation leather.
I would just like to point out.
There's a street
in all your Silver Age comics, all you collectors love, were printed in Waterbury, Connecticut.
I want to ask you a serious
Look
question.
inside the books, you guys.
Hey, man, I'm a big fan of Waterbury. You know that.
I want to ask you a serious Connecticut question here, Niall.
Yes.
All right. Did you see the cat video with the lawyer who couldn't turn off the cat?
Yeah.
All right. That county in Texas, Brewster County, is 500 square miles bigger than Connecticut.
Hey, bro, good things come in small packages.
Yeah, let's stick with that story, shall we?
Yeah.
So, is it really funny, guys? Because I've seen it everywhere. I just haven't clicked on it. Is it that funny?
Billy, it is like tears in your eyes funny.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
I'm not a cat.
Yeah, like literally the lawyer, it says, Your Honor, like at one point tells the judge that he's not a cat. It's unbelievably great.
You know, it's really funny.
And the eyes,
I can see Frank
move.
The best part was like he was willing to just go through. He was just like, all right, let's just keep going. You can hear me, right? He was willing to do the whole hearing as a cat.
Yeah, I actually think that there's something great about everybody involved in it. The two other lawyers that were on the chat, the judge not showing video, but it's just showing a picture. There's just so many funny stories out, and the fact that the judge is the one that posted it.
That's great. That is hilarious.
This one, I am so excited about this one. Mary Wilshire, who many people will remember from Red Sonja and some of the Disney comics and stuff like that at Marvel way back, hasn't done in recent years a lot of comic work. And through a friend, I was able to reach out to her and get her to do this. And it was actually the first one that came in. and I was so excited about it. It just nailed. This is one of the main characters in the book, Jennifer O'Connor, aka Diggs, and she's really pivotal role in the book, and captures a little Texas flavor there, which is really important to the story and the setting. And I couldn't be happier with that piece.
All the pieces are very good that you have.
And Nile, do you think it? This is just purely an opinion thing. I deliberately went with different styles. I could have had one artist do the whole book,
Yeah.
Do you think what do you guys think? Do you think it works? Because I'm trying to capture different feelings.
I think it works, especially because it's a novel, right? And you have those inserts in the deluxe edition, so it's something special to have because it's not sequential art that you're putting in there. You have different artists giving their take on the written description of your characters, and that, to me, that is how you should do inserts, illustrated inserts in a novel. It's nice when you have, I guess, the one artist working on it, but I appreciate the different art styles. It gives the book something a little more special to it.
I really appreciate you saying that, because to me, I'm really trying to do justice to each of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And, just like in life, if we're all comic book people here sitting here talking, but we all look somewhat different. So why wouldn't the characters in that situation? So that's what I was thinking.
I mean, if Frank had glasses, we'd all have something in common, but it kind of works out.
If one person had a beard too.
If one person had a beard.
One person can't draw a beard. I mean, can't grow a beard. Call me Billy. I'm 54 years old.
That's right.
Try to be Bill. No,
so there's a couple things. There's a couple things left in the campaign.
Too.
Yes. Sorry. Let's stick to Jeff's campaign, please.
Yeah, there's a couple things left in it that include having characters named after you.
Yes.
And we've had some people take them, but right there, name a male suspect and name a female suspect. And those are we've had. From out of both campaigns, we've had have the cop named after you. That went really early. We also had a comic book dealer named after you that went pretty early, and that's because there is a comic book crime as the second crime in this comic. Somebody has purloined high-end copies of Amazing Fantasy 15 and Tales of Suspense number 39, and the police in one of my neighboring towns from when I lived there don't believe that they're worth a whole lot of money. So I even throw in the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide into the mix because I couldn't avoid it.
Excellent.
Very cool. And then, but also though in the campaigns, I mean, your other work's available.
Yeah, I made a couple packs of some of my stuff. There's a few add-ons. Obviously, that's the Asha Kishna cover for Vampire PA.
Excellent.
Which is a great, guys, if you can get your hands on Vampire PA, it's an extremely fun read. So good. Are you going to do more Vampire PA in the future?
Oh, brother, am I.
Okay, good.
I just sent the artists who, by the way, are our friends, the Frames, have COVID.
Yes, friends of the show.
Yes.
They've got they got the COVID.
They did?
Yeah.
How are they holding up?
Well, they're still at home, so not, anything threatening at this point. But I did just send them the script, and it is the first issue of the new miniseries, which will be a 4-issue miniseries entitled Al Capone Vampire.
Nice.
Yes. Well, that's where you left us off.
It is. Believe it or not, I actually remembered.
So Jeff, does that mean that you're doing Vampire PA again, the Frame Brothers doing Vampire PA again, and I'm doing Vampire PA again?
It does, and boy, do I have a great cover concept for you. I cannot wait to show it to you.
Put that on the schedule.
Yeah.
Why is Billy hearing about this for the first time?
And the great, because if you tell Billy ahead of time, it's not going to help.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No, it doesn't.
But the great thing is, each issue will be at least 30 pages of story and art. A 22-page main Vampire PA feature and an 8-page Kent Menace backup feature by Scott Braden and Michael Malbrough.
Oh wow!
Oh, Marlboro, excellent.
Nice.
And I got to tell you, the seeds of Kent Menace go back to the days of Realm Press, 1999, 2000, and like the first Kent Menace sketch is probably in my sketchbook that Malbrough did way back when he was working on Galactica for me. And Scott finally sat down and started writing after talking about it for a long time. And the strange thing is, it actually lived up. There's a Kent Menace one shot coming from American Mythology in the March previews from Diamond, and then it'll be in each issue of Vampire PA. So my goal is to introduce them to a bigger audience, and then people can forget about me and get on to Kent Menace. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a very pulpy, weird hero feel, and it totally fits with a vampire book. It's going to be very exciting.
Very cool. Looking forward to that very much.
And it's yet another chance to rip off a cover design from Dave Stevens.
Well, fantastic, JC. Thanks for joining us again. And
man, thank you very much for having me on.
I
appreciate the distraction of a wonderful show that you guys put on tonight. And like I said, anybody that wants to check out this crime novel, I hope they will. And I appreciate the opportunity to tell them about it.
And they can back it, and if you are, loyal to your brands, and hey, I don't want to back anything on Indiegogo, or I don't want to back anything on Kickstarter, you have the option.
You have the
It's
option.
there.
The option
They're
is there.
both there.
And I
for
will say
16
this.
days.
I will say this. We are just at the funded level on Kickstarter.
Mhm.
If we get to that same level on Indiegogo, I'm going to start adding everything together for the stretch goals.
Excellent.
And the stretch goals are pretty great. At least one of them is pretty great. There is literally Michelle Benson, who's one of the two main characters in this book. There is an audio story. I'd say it's an audio book, but it's an audio short story that's already recorded for Michelle's first solo story. And that's one of the stretch goals in there.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Awesome. So let's get it, set it out there on all the campaigns you guys saw tonight. Make sure to help share them. Look, if you like it, back it. AJ's campaign is one of the best first campaigns I've seen, and if you're a freshman campaign, the book looks very professional, obviously we haven't read the whole thing, so I'm gonna hope the script is good. No, I know it's good because I trust AJ. I trust him. It looks amazing, dude. Really does.
It's good.
David wouldn't let me put out something crappy, so I think it turned out really nice, and I'm really proud of it. 7 days left, I think, whenever this episode goes live. But yeah, 7 days left, and I'm hoping to hit that next stretch goal. So any support is greatly appreciated. And thank you guys
on
for
your
having me
social
on.
media. You guys, if you like it, back it. Great. If you think it's amazing, encourage your friends and family to back it if they're into comics and stuff. And the same goes for Second Wednesday. You want a good novel coming out. We're still in these trying times. It's still weird out there. We want to go out and socialize, but then they say to do this and to do that. And one thing we can always do is we can escape in the pages that are in front of us, and we can back these campaigns and indie creators who have the freedom, the creative freedom to do what they want. They don't have big corporations over their shoulders saying you can't do this, it has to be like that or whatnot. They get to be completely free, creative free, and you're getting something completely unique. And that's why backing independent is the way to go. So
Nile, can I chime in for just a second here?
Sure.
I've got to say, I've talked about this on other shows, but Haikyo is the best she comic I've ever read, and I've read all of them. I have been on board since #1 of She, the Way of the Warrior, and I have been a fan. I have been a professional and written and co-written with Billy. And I've been, happy to edit a bunch of them. And in all seriousness, I've said it before, it is the Godfather 2 of She Comics. And people who don't get it will be really disappointed when they hear other people talking about how great it is. We looked at the Pure Line and Rough Cut editions the other day, and we're making our notes and edits and everything like that. Jason Oldcap Odom and I had said this before I saw the whole book assembled, and now I'm just like I'm a genius for saying it because it's that good.
Yeah, and that is going. Those books are going to be formatted tomorrow. Our black and white editions are going to be formatted tomorrow. All I need from you, Nile, is the Haikyo Pure Line edition logo.
You have it in Dropbox, bro.
Oh, you put it in?
Yeah, it's in there.
What?
Check Dropbox.
Yeah, they're TIFF files, bro. You can pull it out.
So
looking at pop that on the inside back cover, send it to Mindy, and those books go to press on Friday.
So we're looking at this, Billy, and you're over 137,000 on Indiegogo. That means we're over 180 total, right?
Yes, we are. Yeah, we're approaching.
That's just amazing.
I know. We're right now, and this is 3 months into the campaign. We have surpassed our July first numbers. Let's say July 1st numbers with Return of the Warrior, which would have been 8 months.
And don't you think? Haven't you had? Let me ask. Have you had a pretty good convert? This is a technical crowdfunding kind of question, but this is the right show for it.
Right.
Have you had pretty good retention of the people that supported Return of the Warrior?
You have to ask Debbie that, but I think so. I think so. We've got a lot of. We are approaching the numbers we had total for the last campaign because the last She campaign lasted almost a year. So I mean, this campaign is going to be 4 months.
Yeah.
And we end it, and we plan on doing. I plan on launching 4 more campaigns this year, fulfilling 3 of them after this one. So we will fulfill 4 campaigns this year, and then the next campaign we'll start fulfilling in February of 2022, and that's
beautiful.
Zombie Sama 2: Dorm of the Dead / the She Return of the Warrior omnibus, of which Haikyo is Act 2 of. So we're really excited. Steve and I, when we were going over the script, it's just I'm just so proud. I think so I'm a genius for bringing Steve in, one of my best friends since 7th grade, screenwriter extraordinaire. Big Hollywood swell that he is, and
you finally get a glow in the dark cover.
I finally get a glow in the dark cover, and the funny thing is, if anyone's out there and you guys order the glow in the dark cover, please do, because that book is, I think, $10 cheaper than the hardcover, but it costs way more to make than the hardcover because of that damn ink. And Debbie's like, and my wife's like,
stealing from Billy.
You had to have your glow in the dark cover. You finally got. I'm like, yes, I want a glow in the dark cover. So that all goes. Hopefully, Brian Miller will be done with the colors by the end of next week. And well, if my pal Nile Scala comes through and we pop some covers together, maybe that book. It goes to press the end of next week, if not definitely the week after.
Oh, it's going next week, bro.
It's going.
It's all in Dropbox.
And thank you all for supporting us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. So when are you? When is the you didn't let anyone know when you're ending the in demand though? How long are you going to keep in demand?
Well, that's up to Debbie. Debbie, I think we're going to keep the in demand.
Oh, it's in the air right now.
It's in the air. I want to keep it until we fulfill.
Yep.
Till we launch the She Omnibus edition at the end of March.
Mm-hmm.
Debbie wants to end it now, so we get our numbers in, and we can. But we're going to order a little bit, overages anyway. But the funny thing too, and AJ, you're going to learn this. Well, if you can switch over to Indiegogo and have an in-demand store, when you're fulfilling that comic and you're promoting your comic book, the new book, and people are getting the book, they start posting on social media. You then immediately get another spike in your sales by now people seeing that, the books are arrived. I don't want to wait 5 months for a comic. I don't want to wait 6 months. So then they start ordering that book then, and they know they're going to get that book next week. It becomes print. It becomes, print on demand. It becomes, from print to shipping is a day.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So that's something that's something to consider. Move over to Indiegogo. you can launch like Jeff and I are doing with dual campaigns if you'd like, or you could launch it as a 2-week campaign, a 30-day campaign with a flexible goal. But once that campaign ends, you put that comic in demand.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was thinking about doing Indiegogo for my second issue, especially because like with Kickstarter, I was surprised like 50% of my my raised was just like organic, like people just popping in, nothing from external or social. It's just like they found it on Kickstarter. So I'm hoping to get some of that same kind of foot traffic, just Indiegogo people.
I think you will. I think
you should bring this first issue over to Indiegogo. I would just think about that, because if you jump over, because that's the thing though, is you're starting off your series in one platform and then you start doing the sequel in another. Might not be the best business strategy there. So it might be, you can literally roll your campaign.
Yeah, do it because all those Indiegogo backers and those Kickstarter backers that backed your first book, if you have it on that particular platform, will follow you.
Well, you got to build up that audience.
They will get the second book, but they might not necessarily follow you from Kickstarter to Indiegogo.
Right. Yeah, I would do both at the same time.
Because we went exclusively Indiegogo first, which I wanted to do. Jeff and my wife just were adamant about us doing Kickstarter as well, and we got another 720 backers in a 25-day campaign.
Amazing. Yeah, it's all me right now. I'm like flying solo, so like the idea of doing it Indiegogo and Kickstarter was just too overwhelming. But
you've already built the campaign, so you just got to copy and paste into Indiegogo.
Just really quick though, so AJ, and you may know this already, you can, once Kickstarter ends, you can just go straight in demand to Indiegogo with your first book. There's a feature that Kickstarter allows you to roll it over into Indiegogo. And you can literally just go in demand right over, and you can start pushing your first copy through there, and you can do any exclusive in-demand stuff that you want. So if you want to do that, you can try to win the Indiegogo audience and introduce them to your book by rolling over the Kickstarter. So it'll say funded on this date on another platform. It will say that. And then now you're on, because you got funded successfully on Kickstarter, Indiegogo will let you go straight in demand, and it's a rollover feature.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that for sure.
So you don't even have to start a whole new campaign.
Yeah, that also lets you let your existing PR efforts and all that networking you've done and all that pushing it on Twitter and everything, lets it keep working for you, because it really is an inorganic switch over to that. Like, hey, we're this is off to the printer now, but you can still order on in demand on Indiegogo, and so you print a few extras, whatever you decide that the campaign will permit you to do, and that's recruitment tools for your next one, and hopefully you grow it if you do both platforms. One of the things about it is you can make most of the stuff the same, so you're not doubling up on the work.
Yeah,
right. But there are some things that you can't avoid being different. The sizes of the imaging are different on both. I heard you mentioning about doing, how long you put in on some of the banners and stuff like that. Yeah. So that is a concern, that you allow yourself the time to do both.
Okay.
Here.
If you decide to roll over to Indiegogo, email us and let us know. And if you want, I can get you on a bunch of shows that are Indiegogo focused.
For sure. I would love that. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Just let us know if you're rolling over, and I'll get on the horn with all of our friends that stream, exclusive Indiegogo campaigns.
Yeah.
And I'd like
to find out who your Fiverr designer is that made those really cool. Jeff, did you see?
Yeah, I sure did.
Graphics that if you brush over it.
They were seriously kick-ass.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'll send you that name.
I think that we should have AJ on how to build a page.
I'd love to help.
An episode on how to build a page.
That'd be a great discussion. Get a couple guys who've really done the impressive ones, and not necessarily looking for the big dollar totals. So that's always great. But some of the people who are doing innovative stuff, because like you said, that got you noticed by the Kickstarter people. That does not hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, everyone, thanks for joining us tonight on Crowdfunding Comics. It was an absolute joy talking with AJ, having Lisa Malone on, discussing, management for indie creators that are doing crowdfunding campaigns and marketing and help run and manage their campaigns. And it's always a pleasure to have JC Vaughn on. He's part of the POPXP family, promoting his novel Second Wednesday. For all the campaigns you saw tonight, please consider sharing them on all your social media. Help push that indie movement. This is the golden age of independent comic creating. We're in a new dawn. So let's continue growing it, because, the big two aren't really doing what we need. And so now we're taking matters into our own hands, and these creators like AJ, JC, TUCCI, all of them out there are doing amazing things. And you can just see how incredible it is. So everyone, have yourselves a great night. If you like what you watch, make sure to click that subscribe button, smash the bell. This way you get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. So everyone, have a great night. We'll see you soon. And yeah, guys, this was a great show.
Great show.
Great show, bros.
Great show, bros.
And we'll see you on the next one, everyone. Have a great night.
Hey everyone. Thank you for joining us on POPXP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the POPXP, and over on Instagram at the POPXP. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you soon.